Welcome back to Do-It-Myself Garage. I was mowing the lawn earlier and I started to hear some growling noises. I know the belt's getting bad, but I'm pretty sure I've got a bearing going out that's causing it to drag, and that's why the belt, I actually got a burnt spot in the belt. So let's go ahead and get this deck off of here and see if, might have to replace some bearings. Let's see what we got. All right, first thing you got to do on this Honda is you got to take there was a cotter key here and there was a washer. Got to take that out on each side. I've already done that on the front. And then in the middle here, you kind of got to do the same thing right there. Got to get that cotter key out of there. And then this whole thing drops down. It takes a little bit of a finagling to get it out of here. But let me see if I can get it without too many problems. Honestly, the hardest part about this is getting these pieces off of the pins. The two front ones are the easiest. Not a whole lot to getting these off of there, but the rear one is a real pain because there's not a lot of room left in there. Try to show you what I'm talking about. So this piece here, I got the cotter key out. Try not to wiggle the camera too much. I got the cotter key out, but this pin here is actually built into the bar, so I got to get in behind this. Pry that. Oh, that one came out pretty easy this time. Let's see, maybe it's the other side that was harder. All right, so this is the right hand side. Let's see if this one comes out. I remember that being harder before, but maybe I just didn't have the right tools. Oh, wow, sorry about that. Yeah, they just popped right out of that hole. So now I'm gonna go get my lift up the whole mower and slide the deck out. Okay, before you do that, you've got your two main power. Well, it's one belt, but it comes down here and it wraps around that pulley right there. You've got to get the belt off that pulley. Otherwise, it's still basically attached to the mower. So let me see if I can get that pulley off of there. Get that belt off the pulley. Yeah, so get this belt off that pulley. Otherwise, you'll be fighting it and wondering why. Now I should be able to slide this whole deck out. Every time I've done this, I just remember it being a fight because you got to basically lift at least one of the set of the wheels up. Otherwise, you can't get this out of here. I could have disconnected it from the bar in the back, which is I think of what I've done before, because there's two spots where you can disconnect that brace that goes to the front. But the front one's the easiest one to get to. There we go. Catch it on some sides now. I'll catch it on the bar on the other side. Alright, so what I was talking about here, I should have just disconnected these, then I wouldn't have these flopping around in my way. So anyhow, Um, can you see the burnt belt already? Yeah, she must have stopped. But she was still working. I finished mowing the lawn with it. So we will get this belt off of here and then see which one of these little guys is squeaking and see if she just needs some grease or if it needs replacing. Oh, I already started removing this. Look at this. Like a piece of leather or something around here. Well, I bet you that didn't help none. That was a lot tighter a minute ago. I started undoing it and then remembered, hey, I need to film this. Let's get this old belt off of here and then we can see if any of these bearings are as bad as they seem like they are. But I bet you that was my main problem. All right, so I spun all of these. They all seem to spin good, except for this one. So I was pounding on this here for a little bit. Basically, just have to pry up from the bottom. There's one bolt on top, and then this whole thing comes off. Anyway. Let's pry this off of here. Got the crowbar underneath it, pried it up. And yeah, this thing is pretty much shot. So this should be a pretty standard pulley to go get. Pretty sure that leather belt being stuck in there didn't help. All the rest of them sound really good. So I'm just going to go up to the implement place, see if I can find another pulley that's close to this. Doesn't have to be perfect, just got to be close. Got this bracket in the vise. See if I can pop this nut loose. All the other ones were 1/2 inch. This one was 9/16. And oh, I was ready to fight it. Here we go. Popped right off. So I'm hoping I get another one that's close. I probably should just bring this up to make sure the other pulley fits on here properly. I'll take that whole thing with me. Okay, so I've got that old pulley off of there, and here's a new pulley. It's plastic, and it doesn't quite fit. But if you see this piece here, it has a centerpiece, and I just need to push that out. It does, hard to show you here, but it does start on there from this side if that bushing isn't in there. So that should work. I'm just going to push out that center bushing, and then the other piece here is still part of the bearing, so that shouldn't cause any problems. Let me press that piece out of there real quick. Okay, so that slides right on there, no problem. Okay, and now there's the bolt and a washer that go on here that clamp down and hold that inner piece, but then the bearing, the wheel still spins with the bearing. Now, these are a different size. It's just an idler pulley. As long as it's approximately the same width so the belt fits in there, it should be just fine. Ta-da, ta-da. Then what I'll do is this style of bushing here just presses in, and I'll find a new one for this, and then I'll have this as a backup. This I found at Fleet Farm, and it was like $16. So it should work. It's plastic. I prefer to have metal, but it is what it is. All right, I got that back on there with the new wheel. Got the spring back on. I just got to put the belt on and then the cover, and she's ready to go back on. Well, I ran the belt tension all the way up, and the belt is still loose. This was a spare belt I had. If I remember right, it was running really sloppy the last time I had it on here. And obviously with the smaller pulley now, I'm going to have to go with a little bit shorter belt. So that'll be tomorrow. Okay, before my battery goes dead, I need to flip this thing up. Might as well go ahead and sharpen the blades as long as I have it off. And if I remember right, it does stand up. Let's see if I can get this stand up. She just stands up. Oh yeah, look how rounded that is. Oh boy. Yeah. Definitely need to sharpen those. But they're good blades. I bet you I went 2 years without sharpening them. I know you're not supposed to do that, sharpen them multiple times, but I've been lazy because it's a bit to get them off of the mower, and I haven't figured out a way to jack it up with the deck on there yet. I need to maybe make something on the front, and then I can use my engine crane here, and then that would make it a lot easier. All right, so this is going to be a little bit of a tutorial on sharpening blades, but not overly so. Just going to show you how I do it. This has worked for me for years. Like I said, these have been on the mower for about 3 years. It was still doing an actually pretty decent job of mowing. But you can see here that these things are pretty darn rounded. But that being said, there's no big chunks out of any of them, and I mow over branches and stuff all the time. And I'll show you how I can do that. So basically, when I've always sharpened, I've always followed the angle that was on the blade from the factory. But then on the bottom, I always take a little bit of put just a little bit of an angle here also. You don't want this to be razor sharp. If you do, it'll chunk out, and then you won't have a blade. They're going to get a little rounded here on the end, and that's just kind of how things are. The way the blades are set up, they're staggered. So as long as I've still got this straight edge here, and I can get a sharp point out onto here, they'll work. They'll work for many, many years to come. In fact, when I sharpen this time, this will get straighter because I'm going to be taking this down and it'll get straighter. Now obviously you don't want this to get too horribly thin, but these have only been sharpened probably a couple of times since I got them. I put new blades on the mower when I bought it, and so anyway, all I'm going to do, we'll get started here. I don't know I'll be able to do the sound. I'll probably have to muffle that out, but I'll show you as I go what this looks like. This is the rough stone. This is my finished stone. I really hardly ever use this at all. I might use this one over here to clean up the bottom. And then see what you're doing. I didn't have it flat enough, and I only got the tip. So I need to have it down further, so I grind all the way back here. I'm wearing safety glasses, and make sure you get all your flammables out from behind your grinder. Okay, that was a good angle right there. Looks like I'm taking a lot off, but I'm really not. In fact, the rounded edge is still kind of here on this side. And be careful not to touch it, because this is going to be pretty warm. And that's really about all I have to do to it. I want to get a little bit more out here on the end. Now I'm going to hit the bottom. I'm going to hit it on the finish wheel over here. And I'm not going to go very steep with that, just lightly, just so it makes an edge. What that does, and you can see here where I do have a chunk out of it, that lets you know how good an edge you have. So I like to do that. You can see here I need to go a little bit more. I'm actually going to do it on this side, so that I know where to match from the other side. Yeah, I got a little aggressive when I did the backside here. I don't normally do that. But I had to get rid of that piece that was chunked out. Alright, there we go. Now you can see where I still have my sharp edge. I don't know if you can see that or not. You can see where I still have my sharp edge. I'm going to hit it over here really lightly. Along the whole thing. Nice, even, sharp edge. And that'll hold up because that has a little bit of a meat to it. If you come to a perfect point this way, there's no meat on the bottom at all. And that's what's worked for me for years. Alright, let's see what we can do on this one. This one's got a pretty good dinger out here. I must have hit a rock with it there. Whoa! Wheel fell off on this side. Not good. Not good. Alright. Gonna throw a little blue Loctite on this over here. I had this wheel off a while back to do, I was trying to put a brush on here and I really couldn't find the right adapters to do it. So this is a left-handed nut over here. Okay, crisis averted. Let's get back to grinding this. Sorry, have my shoulder been in the way the whole time? Maybe. Trying to do my best here to show you how this is done. So as far as angles, you know, on the back, probably 15-degree angle at the most, you know, at the most, because I want to keep it pretty flat. And here you're probably doing about a 30-degree angle. Yeah, you don't, definitely not 45, more like a 30. That is it. If you end up with a blade that's especially beat up, you had some, like this one here, has a pretty good chunk out of it. You know, put it on the side where you normally do your overlap anyway, and it'll probably last you a little longer. You can see all of the grass that I scraped out from underneath here. Really don't recommend on decks like this using water. You don't want to get into these bearings. They're supposed to be sealed, but better safe than sorry. So anyway, let's get these blades on there. So the one that had the big chunk out of it, I am going to put, let's see here, mower deck. Right hand, it'll be on this side, be on the right hand side. So if you have a bunch of buildup of grass or anything on these things and you're concerned about it not meshing on there proper, go ahead and clean it off with a wire brush. You do not want to introduce anything that will cause it to add to vibration. So you want to make sure this gets on there nice and square. Went to put this one on here and spun it around. This one's good. This one isn't seated proper. Okay. Now she's nice and flush. Alright. going to show you how to put the belt on here. The hardest part is just right here. Just remember, I like to do this part first because then you don't have to worry about really anything else. The rest of it just goes on here. Remember your idler pulleys, that's always the back of the belt. So it comes over here. Idler pulley, back of the belt. And then it goes on this pulley. So you've got to take the tension out of it. Make sure you have your adjustment here. I generally try to have it all the way to the loosest. And then, all right. So just pull this over here. And you might have to work it on there, roll it. Notice the tension. You don't want this to be all the way bottomed out. Right now it has a little bit of play, so I could have went with maybe even a 1 inch longer belt. Now I'm going to tighten this up so I get a little more tension on the belt. Again, I want there to be a little bit of play there. Actually, this 100-inch belt's about right. Again, there's still tension there. It's not going to jump off. This piece right here, you can, if you can see that, this little piece here, I've always just pounded a little closer. If for some reason it were to catch on something, less chance of it jumping off right here. Just you got to remember the next time you go to get it off, put the new belt on, you might have to pound that back just a little bit to sneak the belt in there. That's really all there is to it. You've got this little guy here, supposed to be your lock. This has never worked for me. I mean, it goes up there and it's stripped out. So, whatever. That thing never seems to move anyway. Anyway, that's all there is to that. Let's get her back on the mower. We didn't forget, but I gotta get that belt on there. Oh, I might be in trouble. Forgot to put the belt on there. Any luck, there's enough slack to get that in there. Okay, so starting over a little bit, I disconnected both of the supports on this side so I can slide the deck forward so I can get the belt on. Let's get that belt on there now. Belt slid right on there now. Okay, now get this side back together. Alright, got all four of the cotter keys, everything hooked back up. Lowering the deck to the absolute lowest point, this guy right here, definitely helped. Put him back up where I normally use him. About 3. Alright, let's go mow some lawn. See what we get. I apologize that I didn't film any of my mowing, but it's doing a beautiful job. This grass was so tall down here. Got a little clumps here and there, but man, no, it didn't take nowhere near the horsepower that it normally does. So there we go. Nice successful weekend. Got the lawnmower fixed. Probably only have to mow 1, maybe 2 more times this year. That's the end of August. September starts getting cooler at night. The lawns start to go dormant. Well, I still have my mess to clean up. But other than that, I am done. Let's spin the camera around here real quick. Alright, well, thanks again for following along. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Hopefully this was helpful. The tips I had should apply to pretty much any mower out there. You know, some of the decks drop off easier than mine does. But replacing the belt, sharpening the blades, pretty straightforward. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.